Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're digging into an agency that, well, it works behind the scenes a lot, but it really affects us as consumers. We're talking about the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC.
Exactly. It's one of those names you might hear maybe in the news, but maybe don't fully grasp what they do.
Right. And our mission here isn't some dry government lecture. It's about pulling out the key info so you understand how this agency is trying to protect you. You know, from scams, dodgy business practices, that kind of thing.
Yeah, cutting through the jargon. We want to give you the core of what the FTC is about, why it matters to you when you're buying things or dealing with companies without getting totally bogged down in legalese.
Okay, perfect. So let's start right at the beginning. The FTC. What is it fundamentally? When did it even start?
Well, it's actually got quite a bit of history. It was set up way back in 1914.
Wow. Okay. Over a century.
Yeah. And its core mission really has always had these two main parts: protecting consumers like us from, well, unfair or deceptive business stuff, and also making sure businesses compete fairly with each other.
Okay, protecting consumers. Let's unpack that a bit. What kinds of things are we actually talking about, like day-to-day examples?
Oh, it covers a lot of ground. Think about those ads you see sometimes, the ones making wild claims.
Like lose 30 pounds overnight sort of thing?
Exactly, or, get rich instantly. The FTC looks into whether there's any truth to those claims. But it's broader than that, too.
Okay.
Data breach is something we hear about way too much. When your personal info gets exposed, the FTC gets involved there.
Right. That's huge.
Definitely. And those endless robocalls, they're working on tackling those, too. Plus, things like pyramid schemes, which can just devastate people financially. It's quite a range.
It really sounds like it. It feels like they're constantly chasing new problems as technology and scams evolve.
They have to be.
Yeah.
But it's not just reacting after something bad happens. They also try to be proactive.
How so? Like setting rules in advance?
Precisely. That's a big part of it. The FTC acts as a regulator. They make rules for the marketplace to try and keep things honest, keep it a level playing field.
Ah, okay. Like a referee in the game, sort of.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah, setting the rules of fair play for commerce.
Got it. So we know what it is, the kinds of problems it tackles. How does the FTC actually, do the protecting part? What are their main tools?
They basically work through three main channels. First up is enforcement.
Enforcement. Okay. Sounds serious.
It can be. This means they investigate companies when they suspect shady practices, unfairness, deception, that kind of thing. And if they find the company did something wrong, they can take legal action.
And legal action means?
Well, it can mean pretty hefty fines. It can mean lawsuits, sometimes forcing companies to pay back consumers they harmed.
Ah, so getting money back for people.
Sometimes, yes. And it can also mean forcing the company to change its ways, like ordering them to be clear in their advertising or stopping a misleading practice altogether. They have real power to compel changes.
Okay, so that's enforcement. You said three things. What's the second?
The second big one is education, empowering consumers.
How does that work?
The FTC puts out a lot of information: guides, tips, articles, online tools, all designed to help regular people spot scams, understand their rights, and avoid fraud before it happens.
So helping us help ourselves, basically.
Exactly. Making you a smarter, more cautious consumer. It's about prevention.
Makes sense. And the third function?
Rulemaking. This is where they set specific regulations for certain industries or business practices.
Like what kind of rules?
Then it's about advertising standards rules to make sure ads are truthful and not deceptive. Or telemarketing rules about when and how companies can call you.
Ah, like the do not call list. Is that an FTC thing?
Bingo. The Do Not Call registry came directly out of the FTC's rulemaking power. They made the rule allowing you to sign up.
Which so many people have done.
Absolutely. And crucially, they enforce that rule too. They go after companies that ignore the list. So it's a very visible example of their rulemaking impacting everyday annoyances, which often link back to scams anyway.
That's a really clear example. Can you give us another one? Maybe something different where their actions made a big difference.
Sure. Think about health products. You sometimes see things advertised, maybe online, claiming to be miracle cures for serious conditions, right?
Yeah, happens all the time.
Well, the FTC often investigates those. If a company is making claims like cures cancer or reverses diabetes but has zero solid scientific proof.
Which they usually don't.
Right. The FTC can step in and force them to stop that deceptive advertising. That protects people from wasting money on useless, maybe even dangerous products. It ensures health claims have some basis in fact.
That seems incredibly important, especially with health stuff. Okay, so this is all great context on what they do. But what about us? How can an individual actually interact with the FTC? Use it as a tool?
Yeah, this is key. It's not just some distant agency. You can directly engage. The main way is by filing a complaint.
A complaint, okay. If what? If I think I've been scammed or saw a really misleading ad?
Exactly. Or if a company mishandled your data or you encountered unfair billing, anything like that. If you think a business acted unfairly or deceptively, reporting it is really helpful.
Is it a huge hassle, like filling out tons of forms?
Actually, no, they've made it pretty simple. The best way is online. Reportfraud.ftc.gov.
Reportfraud.ftc.gov.
Okay, yeah. The online form is pretty straightforward. Doesn't usually take long, just a few minutes to outline what happened.
But what if it feels like a small thing? Like, I lost $20 on some dodgy website. Does my one complaint even matter?
Yes, absolutely it matters. Think of it this way. Your report might seem small, but the FTC gathers all these reports.
They collect the data.
Precisely. They look for patterns. If they suddenly get hundreds or thousands of reports about the same scam or the same company,
Then they know it's a bigger issue.
exactly. It helps them spot trends, identify widespread problems, and decide where to focus their big guns, their enforcement actions. So your report is like a piece of a puzzle. It helps them see the whole picture.
That definitely makes it feel more worthwhile. Filing a complaint helps build the case, essentially.
That's a good way to put it.
Are there other ways to use the FTC? Other resources?
Oh, definitely. Their main consumer education website is consumer.ftc.gov.
Consumer.ftc.gov.
Yeah, and it is packed with useful stuff. Guides on avoiding identity theft, spotting fake job offers, understanding credit reports, dealing with debt collectors. Tons of practical advice on all sorts of consumer topics. Really worth checking out if you have a question or concern.
Sounds like a really valuable resource library.
It really is.
Okay, so wrapping this up, the main takeaway seems to be that the FTC, even if it's not always in the headlines, is this significant player working to keep things fair for us consumers.
That sums it up nicely. They might fly under the radar sometimes, but their work in enforcement, education, and rulemaking really does impact our interactions in the marketplace every day. They're constantly trying to adapt to keep up with new scams and unfair practices.
This has been super helpful, really clarified things. If someone listening feels more informed now, what's maybe one thing you'd suggest they do with this knowledge?
You know, I think just sharing some of this awareness could be really powerful. Maybe talk to friends or family members, especially older relatives, or people who might be more trusting online.
Good point. Make sure they know there's an agency looking out for them and resources available.
Exactly. Just letting them know about reportfraud.ftc.gov or consumer.ftc.gov could make a real difference.
Yeah, solid advice. And maybe a final thought for everyone listening to sort of mull over.
Go for it.
Think back.
Yeah.
Have you ever encountered something, maybe a weird charge on a bill, a really suspicious email offer, an ad that felt totally misleading, where looking back now you think, maybe it was actually an FTC kind of issue? Even if you didn't report it or think much of it then, just recognizing those situations can help highlight how often this stuff potentially touches our lives.
That's a great point. Reflecting on that really underscores the value of having this kind of consumer protection agency working, often unseen in the background.
If this podcast helped you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your support helps us keep making these videos. Thanks for watching.